During the Cold War, India and Soviet Union had a strong strategic, military, economic and diplomatic relationship. After the dissolution of Soviet Union, Russia inherited its close relationship with India, which resulted in both nations sharing a special relationship. Maintaining its long-standing friendship with Russia, even as it grows closer to the United States and its partners, always involved in a complicated calculus. But it fits with India's desire, especially as a post-colonial state, to look out for its own strategic interests. India's explanation of vote, on the other hand, rests on the totality of evolving situation and said that the nation's biggest priority is the evacuation of the standard Indian nationals. At the same time, India has reiterated its commitment to the principles of the UN Charter, to international law and respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity of all states, and dispatched relief and medical supplies to war-hit Ukraine. Though India's cautious stance is being seen as tacit support of Russia, its primary focus is navigating the hard-lit Western response to Russia's military advance and not abandoning Russia, a key historically ally. It needs both sides to contain the growing belligerence in its own neighborhood. Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar will make a statement on Tuesday on the Ukraine war in Parliament. The war has entered the third week, with Russia's offensive continuing for the 19th day. Thousands of Indians have returned to their homes from the conflict-hit nation since Moscow began its surprise attacks on Feb 24. PM Modi earlier spoke to Russia's Vladimir Putin and Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky over the crisis. Despite global sanctions, protests and appeals, Moscow continues advancing in the key cities of Ukraine. On Sunday, 59 people died when a military base was targeted near the border with Poland, in signs that the NATO nations are also at risk. Zelensky has been making repeated appeals to the West to close the airspace to stop the bombing. For the Russian side, the relationship with India, one of the few countries that has not publicly criticized President Vladimir Putin's military operation against Ukraine, is seen as crucial. The Russian side appreciates the position adopted by Indian side at forums such as the UN. The People said the two sides are expected to discuss alternative payment mechanisms for defense and other deals to address the impact of crippling sanctions imposed on Russian banks and entities by the US and its allies. India has abstained on all Ukraine-related resolutions at UN bodies, though it has repeatedly called for sovereignty and territorial integrity of all states to be respected. In his phone conversations with the Russian and Ukrainian presidents, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called for an immediate cessation of violation and a return to the path of diplomacy and dialogue. With Western sanctions hitting Russia's dollar-based trading, there is a focus on Moscow's efforts to switch to other currencies, including the possible use of the yuan and rupee in deals with China and India. At present, all public sector undertakings neither have any contract nor is any such proposal under consideration from Russia or any other country for purchase of crude oil in Indian rupees, Junior Oil Minister Rameshwar Daly said. India, the world's third biggest oil importer and consumer, is exploring paying for Russian imports in rupees, but a formal mechanism has not yet formulated, government and banking sources said. Since all the Western and European nations are against Russia, their trade has faltered with this meeting. Russia wants to purchase many items from India. Russia needs IT services, automobile and engineering parts, and commercial airplane parts and major spare parts are required, since they are not able to use manned planes since they are lacking services. Russia also needs major pharmaceutical drugs and equipment help from India. As far as India is concerned, it uses many weapons and missiles built from Russia, for which there is scarcity of parts and components, which have been stopped coming from Russia. India is thinking for starting all the productions in-house, so it does not depend on other countries for its supplies, and there is not possibilities of some big defense dealing happening with Russia. The upcoming meeting will be between India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and US Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin.